we expect to accelerate our exploration and increase the size of the mine over the next 2 to 4 years to get it to that 2,000, 3,000 tons per day. And the exploration should come easy. There's lots of very good targets.
Hello, welcome to Assay TV. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Ralph Shearing, who is the President, CEO, and Director of Altaley Mining Corporation. Altaley have two projects based in Mexico. Their flagship Tahuehueto project, which is currently under construction, and the Campo Morado project, which is currently producing. Ralph, great to see you here today. If we could start things off, very exciting time for the company with Tahuehueto under construction. Can we just start things off by giving us a sort of a brief overview of the Tahuehueto project, the resources you've got there, and also your sort of planned production numbers?
Sure, Leo, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity here. So yeah, Tahuehueto is a very large epithermal system. We've been exploring it, have got a very good reserve resource, and are building a mine. So right now we have about 3.2 million tons of reserves at 3.4 grams gold per ton, plus 41 silver, base metals as well. M&I resources are 6 million tons, which includes the reserves. The reserves alone will give us a 10-year mine life. If you add in M&I resources, which we expect to upgrade and bring into the mine plan, they'll give a 20-year mine life. So there's plenty of ability to potentially expand this project as well. Our production profile, we expect to be producing about 25,000 ounces of gold on a gold equivalent basis. If you add in the silver and base metals, we're more like 42,000 ounces of gold equivalent on an annual basis. And it should be a very low cost producer. All our calculations and cash flow modeling right now suggest around $808 all-in sustaining cost per gold equivalent ounce for producing that Tahuehueto. So it's really robust. It should make us a lot of money once we get it into production. And that's expected to occur later this year. We expect to have one ball mill up and running at a half capacity, around 500 tons per day. And then early next year, probably first quarter, bring in the second ball mill online, and we should be producing around 1,000 tons per day near the end of second quarter of next year.
Fantastic. So the construction is proceeding very, very well there. And you say you're going to have production by the end of this year, yeah?
That's the plan. We're on track. We're under budget and on track with the project right now. So, the mill is in final stages of construction. We're getting ready to install the ball mill. Tailings facilities are being prepared. We're building a water line from the river to get water up to the mine. That's underway. And power, we're putting in a power plant. It's a kind of a remote area, so we're generating our own power. We'll initially start off with diesel and convert over to gas fire power as soon as the final permitting for the gas is in place. We expect that to be 4 months, 6 months down the road. And yeah, we'll be up and running and producing. So looking forward to that day. It's been quite a ride to get this thing through the exploration stage and into construction, and get it turning will be fantastic for us. It'll be very good for the company, very good for our investors, because it's going to bring in a lot of extra production. In fact, it should convert us into a precious metal producer. We expect once Tahuehueto comes on stream to be producing about 60% of our revenue from precious metals.
And how does it compare with other mines in Mexico? Where do you stack in the rankings?
I would compare ours very well with a project called La Cienega, which is a Fresnillo mine. It's about 85 kilometers south of us. That project is producing around 3,000 tons a day. We expect to accelerate our exploration and increase the size of the mine over the next 2 to 4 years to get it to that 2,000, 3,000 tons per day. And the exploration should come easy. There's lots of very good targets, many targets to go after. So we're very comfortable that we'll be able to bring in new resources, reserves, and expand the size of this mine.
Excellent. And if we could turn to Campo Morado, tell us, that's in production at the moment. What are your sort of production numbers there?
At Campo Morado, we are producing around 2,000 tons per day. Our resources there are about 16 million tons. We're grading about 1.7 grams per ton gold, 123 silver, 0.8 copper, 0.9 lead, and 4% zinc on the global average of the reserve or the resources. This is kind of an unusual situation. This mine has been in production for a while. We've been producing there for getting on to 3 years now, but there's never been a reserve calculated for it. And the previous owners not having to file 43-101 reports, never reported a reserve. We haven't got around to doing it yet because it's an operating mine. We don't feel we need to spend the money to do that. Anyways, this mine is primarily a zinc mine at the moment, but those gold grades I just quoted are quite high for the type of deposit. This is a volcanogenic massive sulfide deposit, which tends to occur in large pods of mineralization and many, many pods. So these mines tend to go in or produce for a very long period of time, and you continue to find new pods of mineralization. When I say pods, these are large ore bodies. They're like maybe 100 meters long, 200 meters long, 30, 40 meters thick. And so they're really bulk tonnage or bulk underground mining methods to get these. And we've been producing there steadily since, well, we started in 2017. We produced successfully through 2017, 18, part of 18, we started to have some problems in 2019 where we shut the mine down because of low zinc prices. So we shut down for 6 months, restarted operations in early 2020, and have been producing ever since. And this year has been quite good. Our average cash costs on the mine, so this would be project costs, for the last quarter, we just completed, we're about 48 cents per zinc equivalent pound at the project. So 48 cents a pound, zinc's trading the $1.35 level right now. So we're making really good money at the mine at this point in time. Our all-in sustaining costs at Campo Morado in the last quarter were about 77 cents a pound. So even in the distressed zinc priced environment, we're still going to be making money as long as we can maintain these costs moving forward, which we expect to do. Then if you talk about the precious metal component of this deposit, although it's high grade precious metal, we don't get a lot of it out of the ore at this point in time. The precious metals are refractory. So we get about 15 to 20% of the gold, and we get 30 to 40% of the silver. We've moved those numbers up just over the last couple of months to about 20% gold and about 40 to 50% zinc recoveries. Sorry, silver recoveries. Someone was just waving by to me to say goodbye. So that's a challenge. We want to correct that. We want to try to get more production out of the precious metals. So we initiated what I would call a full court press on metallurgy. So we brought on a pilot plant, which we're testing, excuse me, we're testing pneumatic flotation. So this mine, because the metal is locked up in very, very fine grained particles of minerals, we have to go down to a very fine grind. So we want to grind down to the 10 micron level, and we haven't been doing that. The traditional flotation cells that we have in the mill right now don't do a good job of recovering at microfine grind levels. So when you get to that real fine particle, the particles get a slime on them and they don't attach well to the reagents and don't seem to be recovered. So this pilot plant we have on site is called a pneumatic flotation pilot plant or cell, and that is designed to do better at these microfine grinds. So that is we've been operating that successfully for about 2 weeks, and we're starting to get numbers in, and initial results look pretty good. Looks like we're going to be able to increase it, but I stress that as early results. We'll continue on with this program for over the next couple of months, testing different streams of the flotation circuit to determine what our ability is to increase not just the base metal recoveries, because we should be able to increase those as well, but increase the precious metal recoveries with pneumatic flotation. And then based on that, our idea is to see if we can make a pyrite concentrate, which would be gold rich, because a lot of the gold is locked up in the pyrite. This deposit is about 35–40% iron, and so that's vast majority of that is pyrite. And if we're successful in doing that, we could sell that gold-rich pyrite to a trader or a smelter. And if we're not successful in that, then we have the option to take the tailings into a forced oxidation and leaching. And that's actually gone through first phase testing at the mine under the previous owners, and they returned very good results. So they actually increased the gold recoveries up to 60%, which is like a 400% increase to what we're getting. And they increased silver recoveries up by 200% to around 80% recoveries. So this technology has gone through first phase at the mine site, both with a leach ox process, what it's called, and the Albion process, which are both forced oxidation and leaching technologies. They compete with each other. So we've got a pathway forward on that, and we want to push it through to try to improve both the base metal and the precious metal recoveries at the mine. Talking about exploration potential at Campo Morado, it's excellent. Even within the underground workings, we have multiple targets below us that were outlined by a former borehole geophysics from the former operators. They've got a couple of drill holes in those. They've hit good massive sulfides, so we have to follow those up. And on our property scale basis, there's at least 15 targets that are ready to drill. Again, were developed by the previous owners. So we just need to set up on those, locate them, and test them. And any one of those could bring in new massive sulfide ore bodies. So this project has a potentially very long mine life. Right now, with our resources, we're 20 years at 2,000 tons a day. So it even has ability to increase its throughput capacity as well. It would take exploration success, but again, we think we can get exploration success easily once we have our treasury built up enough that we can start drilling.
Absolutely.
So, I think that's a real quick rundown on our projects.
Absolutely, absolutely. And at Campo Morado, obviously, so you're putting in some new processes there to improve recoveries. How does that affect the cost profile for that project?
Well, it's too early to tell yet because we're still in the testing phase. So we got to get it through this testing phase, and then we'll know what technology works best. So right now, we are testing the Immelflot flotation cell in a pilot plant. We're also going to test the Jameson cell. That should be coming on site within the next month. And then there's one other technology called Woodgrove that we may test as well. And out of those three competing technologies, obviously we would look to use the best one. And at that point in time, we'll really have to get all the numbers in, know what the improvements are before we can cost out the additional capital. But to put it in perspective, I've been told that these Jameson cells, they're about $1 million per cell, but we would probably need maybe 3 to 5 of them because they could take the place of a lot of your traditional flotation cells. So one Jameson cell could take the place of maybe 10 to 15 regular flotation cells. So not a huge amount of capital to expand should we be successful on this. The actual forced oxidation and leaching technology that would come in after that, if necessary, could be a little bit more capital for that because you've got to get your reactors in, and then you need a leaching plant to actually recover the gold out of the oxidized tailings. So that, again, we don't know what those costs would be until we get further along with the process of testing.
Fantastic. So lots of exciting sort of activity going on at the company there. You're trying to improve your recoveries there. You've also got some exploration potential. Tahuehueto, to go back to that for a moment, exploration potential there around to increase the resources there? Yeah,
it's very, very good. Tahuehueto is actually a mineralized district, and our company controls about just over 80% of that district. So that 80% of that district is in our concessions. We've only explored along one structure over about a distance of about 2.4 kilometers. We know that structure is at least 3.5. We believe it's more like 7 kilometers in strike length. So that is all available to continue to explore on. We haven't found the limits of the mineralization to depth. So once we get underground where we can drill more economically, we can test how deep these mineralized bodies go. And that's only one structure. We know there's at least 8 more that we have to follow up on. And I believe there's a whole pile of structures that are covered over by younger rock that would present additional exploration potential well into the future. But we have enough targets right now to drill and expand our reserves and resources that could justify expanding the size of this mine to 2,000 or 3,000 tons per day.
Excellent.
So that's kind of our plans, get ourselves healthy, get the money for drilling and start the exploration while we're producing, and get the metallurgical issues at Campo Morado fully solved so we can maximize the revenue and profit out of that mine.
Excellent. Well, as I said, lots of activities going on. Thank you very much for that overview of the company. Great to speak with you, and look forward to speaking with you a little more down the track when you're back up into production.
That's great. I'm looking forward to the opportunity and happy to tell the story.